can make it into a cake, or you can make it into bigger cupcakes. We use a silicone cupcake maker to do it. It's made with beets, carrots. You can make it with zucchini. I don't have any, so I don't bother. You can just make it with carrots, but it's made with whole wheat pastry flour, cocoa powder, a little bit of baking soda and baking powder. All of the recipes will be in the description below, I believe, or on Amy's YouTube. It's made with dates, apples, pineapples, raisins, walnuts. So let's get started. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a food processor, and we use the blade side that's the thicker serrated. So you make shredded beets and shredded carrots. So we'll cut the beet into 3 sections so that it'll fit inside the food processor. We'll drop them in, turn it on, and shred. We'll put the carrots in, we'll shred. So you take a big bowl, and you take the ingredients, which I have pre-measured already, and we pour them into the bowl. So it's about 1.5 cups of whole wheat pastry flour, about 1/4 cup or so of cocoa powder, and then some other little things. So right now I have shredded beets and carrots. I used the golden beet because that's what I had, but you can use the red one, makes no difference. Then you take that and put it in as well. Then you mix them together so that the powder goes inside there. So that's all you need the food processor for. Then you need to make some wet ingredients. So I take my Vitamix, okay, and I use 2 apples. Organic apples is what I use. And I cut out the seeds. We put them inside. You don't want to use the seeds because the seeds are poisonous to your health. Some people don't know that. But you don't want to eat the seeds of an apple. They have like an arsenic or something inside of it. Then you put in a banana. The riper the banana, the sweeter it is. And you can use canned pineapple. I had cut up a pineapple the other day, so I have some chunks left over. So I'm just going to throw that in. And you want to use, I have this date, you can use about a dozen dates or so, but I have this date paste that comes inside of baking. Get it in Walmart for like $1.99. So I use 2/3 of it. I cut 1/3 off, and I'll use that for the icing. And then you turn around and put that inside the Vitamix. You want to make sure the plastic doesn't go in. And then you put in 1.5 cups of water. Put it on your Vitamix. Put mix it all up. Pour in with your other stuff. Then you just want to mix that together, just like you would any kind of a cake. So it's a nice, very tasty cake. We used to make them as a cake, but now we're making them into cupcakes because Amy has a good story about it. So it looks like this.
Yeah, so the story is that we used to make it as a sheet cake in a 9x8 or whatever rectangular kind of baking thing, and then we would frost it, and then we would cut it up into individual pieces and freeze them because it freezes very well. And when we were doing it, Rick would take a knife and he would cut off all 4 edges, and he would save them for later, or some for now, and he would eat them because he thought that the edges tasted better than the inside part of the cake. So that's why he decided to make it into cupcakes, so that every portion that you have would have that toasty kind of edge to it. So that's why we made it into cupcakes. And then it's just easier. You don't have to keep wrapping everything up into separate.
Then I take raisins. So about a cup of raisins or so, and I toss them in. And I do the same thing with the walnuts. Except the walnuts, you need to make them into little bits. So you don't want a big old walnut inside of there. So I take this ninja chopper, and pour it inside there. I chop them up a little bit. I had 2 big chunks fall in. And mix that up. Now if it's a little too runny, I'll put in some chia. But I'm going to put in some powdered chia anyway, because it'll help it to bind better. Could you get that up for me, love? So right now this is about the right consistency. If you can see that. So I throw in a bit of chia, and the chia turns around and makes it like an egg replacement and helps with the binding. Then I put the oven on 350, and we'll cook them for about, at this point you can pour it into a cake pan and make like a little sheet cake. I like the cupcake, so it takes a little longer. See, so the cupcakes, they don't rise much, but it fits right inside of there. So what I do at this point is I take 2 spoons, and I'll take a spoonful and I'll put it inside. Can you see that, Amy, through the thing? Can you guys see me putting them inside of the
I think you should do it up here.
Okay, I'll do it up here. So you can put a little mound if you want to, and because of the cellophane, because of the silicone, they pop right out after they cool. So it takes a little while to fill them up, but you guys get the idea. Do that, and you cook them inside the oven on 350 for about 40 minutes. And like I said, they don't rise, but they'll turn around and keep the same form. Then when they come out, you cool them off, pop them out, they come out looking like that. Now I'm going to show you how to make the icing, because like I said, this will take a little while. And you don't need to watch them cook, because you just put them in, leave them alone, and they cook. So with the icing, we take our vitamins. I don't even bother cleaning the blender, because it's got some goodness in there that's nice and sweet anyway. With the icing, you take the other third of the date paste. Can you get the nuts out for me?
The macadamia?
Yep.
Are they in this good?
Yep. I forgot to get the nuts out. So I make it with nuts, but you can make it with black beans as well. I think we have inside of our recipe demos online a black bean recipe to make an icing. But I like the nuts, I like the fat. So you take macadamia nuts, I buy them from the nut guy, and I buy them the cheaper ones. They're already chopped up. So it's chopped up nuts. So I take a cup of nuts, macadamia. My daughter is allergic to cashews, so I don't use cashews in hardly any of my things. And then you take 2/3 of a cup of, or 1/3 of a cup, what does it say on it? Nuts. Currants, raisins, not on the nuts.
Oh, okay.
That's not the nuts, the other side.
That's what I was seeing.
So I believe it's 2/3, but it might just be 1/3 cup.
2/3 a cup, 1/3.
1/3 cup of the Brazil nuts. I haven't made it in a while. So a cup of it calls out for almond milk or hemp milk. I don't bother. I just put it in water. 2/3 of the dates, the Brazil nuts, cocoa powder, any cocoa powder. And I turn around and put a little cayenne in there, but you don't need to put cayenne in there if you don't want. It's like a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne, and it gives the frosting like a little heat, which is really sweet and heat. It's absolutely delicious. So, tablespoon. So I keep my cocoa powder inside of a big glass jar, because we use a lot of cocoa powder because Amy loves ice cream. So we make the banana with the cocoa powder ice cream. And this calls out for 2 tablespoons. So I don't level them off, I just make them heaping. Chocolate is chocolate, which is good. So I'm not going to put the cayenne in this particular time. And then it calls out for a cup of water. Put it on your blender, load it up. And this one you're probably going to have to tap it down a little bit. It comes out nice and thick. I usually just lick it off the thing. Make sure it tastes good. It does, but taste.
Yes, I do. That's good.
Anyway, give me a little bowl. I'll show you how thick it is. You see that? And it's nice and creamy. You can eat it just like that if you want. Makes a nice pudding. does. Go ahead, talk.
Yeah, so, I think that in the beginning, he had a big plastic bag with the, so what we like to do with our spices, we have little containers, and so if we're gonna make the same recipe often, we'll have little containers and measure out our spices and make a whole bunch of them and have them ready. So for the chocolate cake, we make a cake mix bag, and we take a Ziploc bag and we measure out all the cocoa powder and the flour and all the dry ingredients, and just have them all ready in those Ziploc bags, and that's why he just opened it up and dumped it in like it was a cake.
So it's already pre-mixed.
Yeah.
I make like 5 of them or 6 of them at a time, and I keep them inside of a glass jar. But anyway, the way I frost these things is after they're cooled off, I take the frosting with a little butter knife, and I just put it on there, just like that. And then I put them inside. Hold that for me. Talk to them.
Okay, I'm supposed to talk to you, but not eat this. That's really difficult to do. But these trays here, they're silicone, but they also have metal inside of them, so they don't go wint-wart in your oven. And so he has 2 of them that he makes up. And then after...
So I have what? There's 24? What is
yeah.
it? And this thing, all 24 of them will fit inside of this glass container. And they're perfect. They don't roll around or anything. So when I have all the cupcakes, I put them inside, like that. And then I take them, put the lid on it, I throw it in the freezer, and I freeze them. Because they even taste better frozen after you defrost them than they do freshly baked.
And what's nice about it is because they're so small, you can pop them out of the freezer, and if you want to just sit them on the counter for a while, they'll go out, or you can just pop them in the microwave for like 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
And
frozen. 10
yeah,
seconds.
And they're delicious. And they're so decadent that, you know...
They come out warm and nice.
Yeah. And they're so decadent that, you know, sometimes for me, just even having one is, well...
See, I'll eat 3 and she'll eat 1.
I'll eat one, I'll take it.
Because she likes to keep her goalish figure. It works very nice. Anyway, I hope you guys make it. It doesn't take long, as you can tell, in order to bake it. As a cake, it makes it quicker because you can put it inside of something like this and just throw it in the oven. In just about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. You can feel the firmness of it when you take it out. If it feels firm, take it out.
But now
You can put the toothpick thing inside of there where it comes out, you know. But you can always cook it, and if it's not enough, you can stick it in the microwave to finish it off. You don't have to put it back in the oven if you don't want to. You can put it in the microwave.
Yeah.
Like the last time we did this, we made a little cake with oatmeal and stuff, and it was a 6-minute cake in the microwave.
Yeah.
So if you didn't see that one, you should watch it on
Watch
YouTube.
that too. That was good. But this is nice because you can have a whole bunch of cupcakes made up, put in the freezer, and then we have ice pops with ice cream, chocolate ice cream in the freezer. So anytime that you want a treat, you can just open up the freezer and take something out, and there's always something delicious. So you go through this, but you have a whole bunch of cupcakes. Aw, isn't that nice? We should split it. Or you're gonna have your own.
I'm going to make some more.
Oh, he's gonna make some more.
While you're talking.
So, I'm gonna taste it. That's really good. So what I'm gonna do is put a link to the recipe in the comment section of the video. This is gonna be on YouTube, so you guys can watch it and get the link. Anybody have any questions?
I did, but now if you're gonna have the links, then I'll be able to just get the answers from there. Yeah, I was just confused on 2 things.
Yeah.
Go ahead, ask the questions. It'll be fine.
Okay, well, it sounds like a frosting. Number one was the frosting. It seemed like you had mentioned a cup of liquid twice. Was it?
I use one cup of, you could use hemp milk, almond milk, something like that. I just use water because I'm putting all the nuts in there anyway, so you don't really need to.
So 1 cup total.
1 cup total.
Okay, great.
1 cup of water for the icing, yes. With 1 cup of macadamia nuts and a third of a cup of the Brazil nut. But again, you can make it with black beans. You take black beans and dates, and it's on. You have a.
I have a frosting on the BeGreenWithAmy.com website, if you look up chocolate frosting, I have a frosting recipe on there that's made with black beans instead of nuts.
Instead of nuts because of the extra oil, but,
Right. Or allergies or whatever, yeah.
Some people don't like the nuts because nuts are more fattening.
the oil, right?
Yeah.
And the other was, when you were mentioning the powders, you said like, 1.5%, because it was in a bag, 1.5% cocoa flour, 4 cups of cocoa powder. This,
Yeah, she'll have the recipe in the link.
I thought you said, oh, there's some other things in there, but you didn't mention them, so. If
Right.
it's in the recipe, I'll leave.
It'll be in the recipe. This way you'll have the exact measurements.
And
Right. So in the beginning, you're like, wow, this is a lot of ingredients. But if you do the dry ingredients ahead of time, and you can just, it's like having a cake mix. And as you can see, you know, you just throw everything in the food processor, then you throw it all in the blender, mix it together, and then there you go. And now he's, you know, spooning them into these. And I'll have a link to the silicone cupcake tins too, because it took me a while to find these. The ones that I kept finding were made of just silicone. And so you had to make sure you put them on a baking sheet, otherwise they were very wobbly, you know, and not sturdy. And these have some kind of a metal embedded inside of the silicone, so they're sturdy, so you can just put them right in. And at first I was using the silicone cupcake forms that you know, instead of the paper ones. Paper doesn't work very well with this recipe. It's so moist and chewy that the paper seems to want to stick to it. So that's why we're not using the paper cups, because they would just, yeah, it wasn't a good thing.
didn't make any sense.
Yeah, it didn't. Anybody else have any questions? Okay. All right, well, I think that, oh, he already got one tray done, so that's pretty cool.
So we're gonna, it looks like that, and we'll just turn around, pop it in the oven now. And the other one, it'll make like half a tray. So I'll get a tray and a half of these.
Yeah, about 3 dozen cupcakes, which is pretty good. It'll last you a long time. Well, I hope you guys really enjoyed that. This is going out there on YouTube. Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. I hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions or comments, put them in the comments section. Or you can put in the comments section, be strong, be well, be green. You can say it with me, because I'm going to say it now until I see you again. Be strong, be well, and be green.
Green.
Bye-bye, everybody.